Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield and the County of Union, New Jersey at 7 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, June 13th, 2017 in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and any other business to come properly before the board. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it will be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield School Board on Thursday, June 8, 2017, caused to be posted at the Office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap into Westfield, and Patch.com, a meeting notice setting forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Dana, can we have a roll call, please?
Michael Beelan.
Here.
Mark Friedman.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Robert Garrison.
Here.
Christopher Langhart.
Here.
Gretchen Olick.
Here.
Peggy Astor.
Here.
Charles Ostroff.
Here.
Amy Root.
Here. Rob, can you lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're going to start our announcements. I'm actually going to move to the podium because tonight's announcements and the reason that you're all here are not just about the board or reading, but we, of course, are here to honor some, I'm sorry, you can tell we're a little discombobulated. Are we okay to start? Okay. 5 teachers and 1 support staff member who've been selected among their peers, of hundreds of their peers, for special recognition this year at either Roosevelt, Edison, or the high school. So on behalf of the board, it really is my pleasure. This is one of our favorite evenings of the year, is to be able to have you guys come and let us give you a resolution attesting to your dedication and to thank you for your service to the children of our district. So I think we're going to start first with Cecilia Valdez Dalton. Yeah, can you come see me and then Matt, this is about you. This is not about him. It's okay. Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely. On behalf of the Oligs especially, I would like to read this resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey, to Cecilia Valdez Dalton, an Intermediate School Teacher of the Year, 2016 through 17. Whereas the Optimist Club of Westfield, a supporter of schools and children in the community for many years, has established an annual award for outstanding teaching in the intermediate schools. And whereas this award is a fitting tribute to the importance of teaching in the intermediate grades and the nobility of the teaching profession. And whereas Cecilia Valdez Dalton, who began her career in Westfield in 2006 and continues today as a special education teacher at Edison Intermediate School, has been awarded the 20th Annual Intermediate School Outstanding Teacher Award for outstanding teaching, interest in children, and continued pursuit of professional growth. And whereas the nomination received expressed appreciation for her teaching strategies and for selflessly giving up for her free time to give students and her colleagues extra support. Now therefore be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly expresses appreciation to the Optimist Club of Westfield for establishing this award, and that this Board of Education sincerely congratulates Cecilia Valdez Dalton, representing Edison Intermediate School, for receiving the 2017 Outstanding Teacher Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment. And that this resolution be presented on June 13th, 2017, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. So, congratulations. Matt, would you like to come say a few words?
I would love to.
Okay.
Evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Westfield Optimist Club for providing this recognition to our district's intermediate school teachers. This is an important award that's bestowed annually to a group of extremely important people. I'd also like to thank Dr. Dolan and the Board of Education for allowing us time tonight to recognize our fantastic intermediate school educators. Cecilia Valdez has served as a special education teacher at Edison Intermediate School for 11 years. I have had the pleasure of watching her work for the past 5 years. I don't have many other words to describe Cecilia other than she is a complete force. She absolutely does not stop moving all day long on behalf of her students and her colleagues. She's just one of those people who accomplishes more in 24 hours than most of us. If you ask Cecilia how she spent her weekend, she'll probably tell you about a home project that she completed in a weekend that would typically take a normal person about a month. I don't really know that she sleeps. Cecilia is simply just faster and more driven than most. She and I often arrive at work and pull into the parking lot at the same time and kind of park right next to each other. And as I take a leisurely stroll into school, contemplating another beautiful day, working at Edison Intermediate School with the joy of middle school students, Cecilia is carrying a huge bag of books and on her cell phone, taking care of a situation regarding one of her many daughters. She has many daughters. And she's beaten me to the door by about 10 steps. Cecilia is a force at Edison School. She's a positive force in the lives of her students as she takes challenging and abstract math concepts and makes them real and concrete in her students' lives. She also makes them visual, as she did this year with an interactive notebook. She's a positive force for parents as she goes well beyond to communicate not only how she's supporting their children's needs in the classroom, but also provide strategies on how they can support their children at home. And she's a positive force with her colleagues as she truly partners with them to both support students and nurture their development as she mentors them in a sustained and ongoing way. The students who Cecilia serves are truly fortunate to have her as their advocate and educator. I'm so proud that Cecilia Valdez is Edison School's Teacher of the Year. She deserves this recognition.
Hey everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Bolton, Dr. Dolan, and the Board of Ed. I am humbled and honored to be here today, so short. A few weeks ago, when Dr. Bolton announced that I had been nominated and awarded the Optimist Teacher of the Year, I was so excited that the first thing I did during my prep was text my family. They, of course, were as excited as I was, and then my husband asked me what that meant. So I told him I had to make a speech. The moment I mentioned that to him, fear swept over me like I had never felt before. So I decided I needed some help. I went to see the one person that you go to in our building when you have to make a speech in front of a large crowd, Mike Altman, and he told me not to panic. He provided me with excellent advice, and then he reminded me that it was okay to be funny. I walked away, I thanked him, and I continued to panic because I am not funny. For the next week, I tried to write a speech. Of course, I was interrupted by all the things in life that have to get done. You know, the cooking, the cleaning, work, laundry, power washing the house, painting the basement. You get the idea. I was procrastinating. On Thursday afternoon, I ran into Mike, and he asked me about my speech. And I passed him in the hallway quickly and gave him it'll be done tonight. And he laughed and said, "You look the way the kids look when I ask them." It then hit me. I had become my students. I thought about this as I walked down the hallway. The writer's block, the procrastination, the fear. I was behaving like my 7th and 8th graders. So I decided to get a little extra help, just like my students do. I sought the assistance of my family, my best friend, my colleagues, and my students. They all shared some amazing perspectives and tried to guide me in the right direction. It was truly an eye-opening experience. After many lunch study type extra help sessions, I finally remembered something. Years ago, a friend of mine referred to teachers as life vest. And at the time, I didn't quite understand the analogy. But after 18 years of teaching and many, many recent extra help sessions, I finally understood it. See, a life vest will hold you up and keep your head above water until you can make the right decision. And the best thing about a life vest is that it doesn't discriminate and will help anyone who needs assistance. Below grade level, approaching standards, gifted, well-behaved, behaviorally challenged, at risk, boys, girls. As teachers, we have the opportunity to be the life vests for our students and our colleagues. We have a chance to guide and lead them in the right direction, academically and socially. Sometimes we're able to pull them up just enough so they can breathe on their own for a while and then go out and be ready to swim. We need to be the life vests for our students throughout the year, not just in our classrooms, but in building relationships with others. We need to build trust and respect in the relationships we form with our students and one another so that we can be each other's life vests. That being said, I would like to thank my life vests. Thank you to my husband Tim and my daughters Mariah, Haley, Melody, and Emmeline for being so very patient with me. They understand that teaching doesn't end when the bell rings, and I often have many hours of work ahead of me at night, whether it's writing IEP narratives, creating lessons, grading papers, or going through the INRS feedback. I'd like to thank my parents who worked hard to put me and my two sisters through school. They worked long hours and instilled in us a work ethic that still resonates in each of us today. They taught us that hard work, perseverance, and respect would always get us far in life, and that receiving an education was the most important thing they could ever offer us, because having an education opens doors to countless opportunities. These values I learned from my parents are something I try to cultivate in my students daily. I would also like to thank Dr. Bolton, Mrs. Fendis, and Andrea Lowe for their constant leadership, guidance, and support. All of my co-teachers, fellow special education teachers, guidance counselors, and INRS colleagues who truly make my job easier. But most importantly, I would like to thank my students. I have the pleasure of going to work every day doing something I absolutely love, and they are truly the reason. In closing, it has been an honor to work in such an amazing school district and a privilege to serve the community. I'd like to accept this award on behalf of my school life vests, my co-teachers, and the special education teachers at Edison, whose tireless efforts are apparent in the relationships they form with their students. And I challenge you all to be someone's life vest. Thank you.
Mr. James Doyle, would you join me at the podium, please? I'd like to read this resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey to James Doyle, Intermediate School Teacher of the Year, 2016 to 17. Whereas the Optimist Club of Westfield, a supporter of schools and children in the community for many years, has established an annual award for outstanding teaching in the intermediate schools. And whereas this award is a fitting tribute to the importance of teaching in the intermediate schools and the nobility of the teaching profession. Whereas James Doyle, who began his career in Westfield in 2000 and continues today as a music teacher at Roosevelt Intermediate School, has been awarded the 20th Annual Intermediate School Outstanding Teacher Award for outstanding teaching, interest in children, and continued pursuit of professional growth. And whereas the nominations received on behalf of James Doyle expressed appreciation for his dedication, enthusiasm, integrity, energy, and for being a great role model for his students. Now therefore be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly expresses appreciation to the Optimist Club of Westfield for establishing this award, and that this Board of Education sincerely congratulates James Doyle, representing Roosevelt Intermediate School, for the receipt of 2017 Outstanding Teacher Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment. And that this resolution be presented to James Doyle on June 13th, 2017, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations. Mr. Carey?
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Dolan and the Westfield Optimist Club for sponsoring this over the course of the years. I've had the opportunity to see many, many, many outstanding teachers who have come before us to receive this award. This year was no different. We, as Dr. Dolan can attest to, we went over a lot of names that could have easily been the recipient tonight from Roosevelt. And by the time we sat down and went around the table and spoke of all of the positive characteristics of a good teacher, James Doyle stood out. Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. When I had an opening at Roosevelt, James was a student teacher at Edison. I went over and I watched him teach a lesson, and I turned and I said, he's who I want. And I brought him over to Roosevelt, and I think I had a hard time trying to talk him in to taking the job. He was a guy who didn't have 15 cents in his pocket, but he didn't know if he wanted the job because he had talked about being a vocal teacher. As it turned out, we hired him, and it turned out that he sparked an interest in those kids at Roosevelt like you have never seen before. In the years that he's been there, we have so many bands. I can walk in that building at 7:30 in the morning. He has an afternoon ramble. He has a morning jazz band. Every band that you can name. Why? Because he meets every kid at the level of their needs. That's the type of teacher he is. In the classroom, on the stage, on the band field, it doesn't make any difference. He touches students in a special way, and that is the reason that students saw fit to write him as a candidate for nomination for this award. I can't think of anybody. We've had a lot of great teachers at Roosevelt who have received this, but it was heartfelt, and I know heartwarming for our students. When I announced the Teacher of the Year, I could hear from that old building everybody screaming out at one time. They were happy to have him, and so am I. After 48 years, I can walk out and I know that this is one solid teacher, and he's going to do work well for Westfield in the future years. Thank you. James?
Thank you. Mr. Carey was right. I never wanted to be a band director. It's actually true. I always wanted to teach elementary school, but worked out. Thank you, Dr. Dolan, the board, and the Optimist Club for recognizing me for this award. I think Mr. Carey made another great point. There are a lot of really, really good teachers at Roosevelt. And I really did not expect to hear him call my name over the loudspeaker that day. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I feel that I'm a very fortunate person. I do try to work hard at what I do, but I also feel that I've been very lucky. I'm lucky that I come from a very loving, supportive, and caring family. My parents and my oldest brother are here today. They taught me a lot about life and how to work hard, and they always supported me in all the decisions that I wanted to make, even when I wanted to go to college to study music and become a music teacher. And I'm thankful for my brothers. I was fortunate to have them who kept me in line when I needed it. I'm sure Kevin could attest to that now if you asked him. He's sitting over there. And I feel fortunate that I studied music in college, not only because I loved it and I'm now doing something that I love, but when you study music or any art, you're constantly practicing, and there's never an end. You're always trying to get better than you were the day before. And you always approach it with an attitude that there's somebody out there better than you, because there is. And I'm lucky that I spent 5.5 years doing that in college, and I think I translated that into my teaching. And well, it was a 5-year program. I took a semester off. I had good grades, I swear, I'll show you. It's on record somewhere. And I was really, really fortunate that I had the opportunity to student teach in Westfield. I was the only one in my school that actually had at that time. And that I student taught with Suzanne Moore at McKinley and then David Shapiro at Edison. And that I had Dr. King as a supervisor, and she came and watched me, and then Mr. Carey came and watched me and saw something in me. I spent my whole teaching career in the public schools here in Westfield. It hasn't been a very long one yet, but I'm very fortunate to be here. As you know, it's a wonderful district with I'm very privileged to work with such talented young people and such amazing teachers on a daily basis, and very supportive parents. I knew that Westfield was a special town, especially for the arts, very supportive of the arts, and then I met Mr. Carey. And since he had some stories about me, I'll share one about him. It was in my first month or two at school. We were having lunch, and we started talking about music. Somehow talk of jazz came up, and that got his ear. So we started talking, and he said, "What are you doing next period?" I said, "Oh, I have a planning period." He said, "I'll meet you in your room." So he went to his car, got a CD of one of his favorite artists, Mr. Joey DeFrancisco, a jazz organ player. He brought it to my room, and we sat for 40 minutes, and we listened to that record. And I remember thinking, man, I can't wait to tell all my college professors about this. My principal sat and just listened to jazz with me for the last 40 minutes. It was amazing. So that's when I knew that I was in the right town. And as I said, I work with amazing colleagues, some of which are here tonight. So I appreciate that. Liz is back there. Hey, Liz. But there was one colleague that taught me more about teaching probably than any other. And before she became Laura Doyle, she was Laura Segedin, or Segi, as a lot of her friends call her. And she's still in my phone as Segi, actually. She taught me years ago, when I first started, she taught me how to love kids. I've never met someone who has as much genuine and natural care for her students, no matter the circumstances. And she reminded me once, and has it written above her desk in her office, love the kids, whether you do or don't, they'll know it. And she told me that, again, like I said, before I was trying to make her become Laura Doyle. So I just respected her as a teacher. She was brilliant, and still is. And then when she left Roosevelt to pursue other things, she wrote me a note. That it said the same thing, love the kids, whether you do or don't, they'll know it. And I took that note, and this is it here, and it's been posted on the wall of my office for the last 5 years. So every day when I get up from my desk before I go out to teach, I have this nice reminder, and it reminds me of why I'm doing what I do and why we're doing what we do. So thank you, Laura, for all of your inspiration every single day. And like I said, I'm very fortunate, and I've only been here not even 8 years yet. It's only been about 7.5 years, and I still feel like a beginner in many ways, and I think that that's a good thing. I have a lot of room to grow as a teacher, and I hope that in 30 or 40 years, if I'm as fortunate as Mr. Carey, to be here for that long, when I'm ready to call it quits, that I still feel that same way, and I'm always trying to keep growing. So thank you again, everyone, and have a great summer.
So we're going to move on now to our amazing high school award winners. Mr. Brzezowski, if you could please join me at the podium. Absolutely. So I would like to read the following resolution to you from the Board of Education to John Brzezowski, WHS Westfield High School, PTSO Teacher of the Year 2016-2017. Whereas the Westfield High School PTSO Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award has been established to annually recognize a teacher who is encouraging and motivating, is a good role model, and shows respect for coworkers, students, and parents. And whereas this award is presented to John Brzezowski, a vocal music teacher since 2006 at Westfield High School, where he also serves as the music director for the spring musical, is commended for his encouragement, motivation, and unconditional support for his students in and out of the classroom. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulates John Brzezowski for receiving the 2017 PTSO Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to John Brzezowski on June 13th, 2017, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. So, one of the neat things about getting to do this is every once in a while I have a teacher I have a personal connection with. And so Mr. Brzezowski has given my middle boy a safe place at the high school. So I just personally want to thank you for all your love and support and, supporting these kids, giving them a chance to sing. It's an amazing thing. So thank you very much. Thank you. Dr. Nelson, do you want to... I don't know if you want to come up every time, if you kind of want to wait and say something at the end. What would you...
I'll say something about it.
Absolutely. Would you like to say something?
Well, first of all, it's such an honor to be in the presence of such wonderful educators, and I am truly humbled by this recognition. And I started off in Westfield Roosevelt back in 2000. It's hard to believe now. I've been teaching 17 years, and 11 of which were in Westfield, and the past 7 that were at the high school. And having to work with the students at the high school is an absolute gift. It's truly a dream job, and there aren't many people that can say that they get to go to work and be creative and get to sing and make music. It's just a wonderful feeling to get to go to school to do that. And with young singers that are so passionate, so talented, and so incredibly smart. I read somewhere that someone said there's music in every child, and a teacher's job is to find it and nurture it. To me, nothing beats the thrill of working towards a performance in class or an after-school rehearsal or a morning rehearsal, and then on concert night or at a festival, hearing the students bare their hearts and soul in performance. And I love watching them be empowered by the musical product that we created together. That kind of connection is just something you cannot buy. It's just something that is felt in the everyday classroom with these students. And I'm, again, honored that I have that opportunity to have that experience with them. I love that connection and the moments on stage, and it's truly exhilarating. And not only do I get to do what I love as my job, but on top of that, to receive this special recognition is truly an honor. I'd like to thank the PTSO and the Westfield Board of Education and Dr. Dolan, Dr. Nelson. I look forward to having the opportunity to create many more musical moments on stage in the classroom with the young people of this incredible community. Thank you so much.
Molly Dennis, could you join me at the podium, please? Speaking of personal connections, Molly's dad is my boss, so I better do a pretty good job. So I'd like to present you with this following resolution to Molly Dennis, Westfield High School Distinguished Teacher of the Year 2016 to 2017. Whereas the Distinguished Teacher of the Year Award has been established to annually recognize a teacher who, through both excellence in teaching and a demonstrated commitment to intellectual pursuits beyond the classroom, serves as a model and inspiration to the high school community to strive towards excellence. And whereas Molly Dennis, a science teacher at Westfield High School since 2002, is commended for her ability to positively impact her students through innovative teaching, consistently helping students during her free time, and by bringing energy and inspiration into the classroom. Now therefore be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulates Molly Dennis for receiving the 2017 Distinguished Teacher of the Year Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Molly Dennis on June 13th, 2017, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations.
I'm actually not really one for speeches, so this will be very quick. Thank you very much for this lovely award. It's a real honor to be recognized as Teacher of the Year, and I very much appreciate it. I actually started in Westfield Public Schools in 1984, I suppose, since that's when I was in kindergarten here. I still have my red apple to prove it. It's hard for me to believe that I've actually been teaching at the high school and before that at Edison for so long because I really enjoy it. I love going to school every day. I love what I do. I get to do something different every single day. I'm never stuck behind a desk. I'm always wandering around and doing new things. Being a science teacher is not glamorous, but it's a lot of fun. I started off actually taking biology with Mr. Brewster in 9th grade, and I absolutely loved it, so it was natural to take AP biology with Mrs. Pastor. And so when I went to college, I just was a bio major. I didn't really think of anything else other than minoring in German because I also really loved Frattori. So we've always had excellent teachers at the high school. I'm very lucky. But I love getting to know all of my students. It's fun. I get to chat with all these students and learn new things from them every day. They inspire me with their energy, their questions, and their laughter. And I'm really honored by this award because I know that the students actually nominated me for that, and it touches my heart. So I really appreciate it. So thank you very much to all of my students, present and past. I'm so lucky to work with you. Thank you to my parents, who knew from an early age that I would be a teacher, since I bossed around my siblings all the time in every subject. Thank you to my husband, who helps me with grading, or keeping me going while grading. Thank you to my colleagues, from whom I've learned so much, and thank you to the parents for sharing your kids with me. I really appreciate it. So thank you all very much for this lovely award.
Daniel Devlin, if you could join me. So on behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to present this resolution to Daniel Devlin, Westfield High School Above and Beyond Award 2016-17. Whereas the Westfield High School Above and Beyond Award has been established to recognize a teacher or counselor who has made a difference in the life of a struggling child, either socially, emotionally, or academically. And whereas this award is presented to Daniel Devlin, a dedicated drama teacher since 2006, who is commended for imparting meaningful messages to the students he inspires and for making each one feel special as he cultivates a love of theater. Now therefore be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulates Daniel Devlin for receiving the 2017 Above and Beyond Award, a significant honor and notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Daniel Devlin on June 13th, 2017, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations.
Lori said to say a few words, and I want to start with saying thank you to Dr. Dolan and the Board of Ed for recognizing the importance of performing arts, and I am very, very stunned that this happened. I think actually my students are the ones who go above and beyond every day. I don't know whether we realize it or not, but the last 4 years, my students have received the Outstanding Play nomination from Montclair State 4 years in a row. And they are remarkable young people. And I'm very humbled to get to work with them. I actually have lunch with them every day because many of my students hide in the auditorium. It's their safe space, and they're not allowed to be there if someone's not there. So I eat my lunch with them, and I get to talk with them about stuff that is unimportant in a classroom. I love teaching my students and watching them grow, not only as students, but as young artists, and more importantly, young people who will soon be young adults. And we had a very challenging year this year, and I had the opportunity, the responsibility to go above and beyond, to be there for my students, and to help all of us overcome a pretty significant tragedy that really shook our department, our school, our community to the core. And I still have the opportunity daily to talk with people, students, whenever they need it, whether it's talking about their 93-page senior project they just finished today, or struggling with loss. And I think that that's one of the greatest things about teaching theater is we teach empathy, we teach people, and watching them grow as students and artists and young adults is my greatest pleasure. And I'm very, very lucky to do that, and I thank you very much for allowing me to.
Kevin Womack, if you could join me. So I'd like to present you with this resolution from the Board of Ed to Kevin Womack, the Robert and Linda Foose Memorial Award winner 2016-17. Whereas the Robert and Linda Foose Memorial Award has been established to annually recognize a member of the Westfield High School staff for supportive education, and whereas this award, whose namesakes were a former principal of Westfield High School and a former teacher, has been conferred upon Kevin Womack, and whereas Kevin Womack, a dedicated custodian at Westfield High School, is commended for his continued kindness and cooperation with students and staff. Now therefore be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulates Kevin Womack for receiving the 2017 Robert and Linda Foose Memorial Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Kevin Womack on June 13th, 2017, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations.
Thank you. I would like to thank the Westfield Board of Education for honoring me for this award. I was really shocked when I won this award because the principal assistant came up to me. Her name is Melanie at the Westfield High School. She said, "Kevin, I need you to come to work Thursday, 9 o'clock in the morning. I work second shift. I'm a custodian." So I'm figuring, what's going on? So she says, you just have to meet Dr. Nelson, 9 a.m. So I was scared for about 3 days. I had no idea what was going on. So I come dressed up. You know, I'm the best dressed custodian you can find. And, you know, Dr. Nelson was doing the announcements, and he said my name, and I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. And this is July 1st to be my first year here as a custodian. And I was just really shocked, you know, that I can receive an award, you know, that quick. And it's an honor, and I'm humbled. And Mr. Dan Devlin, I work in his area in the auditorium, the theater department, and I deal with a lot of his students. And I do the same thing that he does. I talk to the students. Anything they need help with, I help them with it. And I'm here for the students and staff, so I'd like to thank Westfield Board of Education, and congratulations to everybody that won the award here tonight. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. All right, first, thank you, Dr. Dolan, Ms. Oleg, and the entire Board of Education for allowing me to speak about this great group of educators. Westfield High School is an organization that prides itself on many things. Between academics, sports, and the arts, our students are supported by a great staff of professionals who love working with kids in and out of the classroom. These 4 staff members that we are here to honor have shown in their own way that they go the extra mile to give 100% to their students and their fellow colleagues. Whether it is through play rehearsals that go into the late night, making kids feel special about the lab that they worked so hard on, working with a group of singers to hit that right note that I know I'll never hit, or always being available to drop whatever you are doing to help clubs, teachers, students, organizations who are using the building to carry in 1 million boxes into the building when you are on your lunch break. These 4 individuals exemplify what it means to put the kids first. So I want to thank you all for everything you do for Westfield High School, our students and staff, and the Westfield Public Schools. You help to make us better, and we are a district that is blessed for it. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
I could tell you on behalf of the board that we heard a lot of people say that they were humbled and blessed, that every member of this board feels the same way, that we are able to represent the community with such amazing teachers and staff. And so thank you for all your hard work. Unfortunately, we're now going to kick you out because we have a whole bunch of students waiting to come in to be recognized. So please thank the PTSO for their refreshments. Please take some on your way out, and thank you again for coming. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, thank you so much for your patience. It's a busy night. We were lucky enough to be able to honor our intermediate and high school Teachers of the Year. Yeah, like I said, clearly we need a bigger room. But now I am very pleased to congratulate the Westfield Ultimate Frisbee team. So not only did you earn a 27-3 overall record this season, you won the state finals, and you're ranked 6th in the nation? 6, 5, 4, 3, depends on who you ask.
Yeah, eight at the last ranking.
Okay, well, we're not gonna talk about that. That's clearly wrong, clearly wrong. You won a major regional event called the Amherst Invite, defeating Amherst Regional High School of Massachusetts on their home field in their homecoming game with the final score of 12-11. And you were undefeated in state play and earned that championship. So on behalf of the Board of Education, we're thrilled to have you here to welcome you and congratulate you on your success. I'm going to call your name. I'm going to start with our freshmen. When I call you, please come to the podium and accept a certificate. And then I think we're going to try and ask you to just sort of hang out up here and line up. And then we'll try and get a picture at the end. So bear with me. Oh, okay. So we got a picture. But hang out anyway. That's okay. So we have one freshman on the ultimate team, Jack Chaffee. Our sophomores, Felix Bauer. Jesse Katz. Jacob Singman. Congratulations. 11th graders, Lucas Adrians. Congratulations. Josh Camacho. Congratulations. Ryan Chiricella. Not here? Andrew Cohen. Andy Dazzo. Matthew Feinberg. Michael Paglialunga. David Perry. John Sickles. Matt Vecito. And Eli Weaver. And our graduating seniors, Patrick Chiricella. No Chiricella? Jacob Davis. Cole Feltman. Chris Kelly. Jack Wheeling. Ing. Jack Schwartz. Matt Stravick. Congratulations. And Kevin Trey.
The guys in the front row kind of go in between the guys in the back. Yeah, nice shot.
Can I, do you want to, can I ask the coaches to come up and then you get, or do you want just the kids? Okay, you do, go ahead. You do you.
Yeah, then we still want the coaches.
Don't go anywhere. We do want to take a moment and recognize the coaches. I'd like to ask Anthony Nunez and Ryan Boleen to please come up as well. Okay, I'm going to let Coach Boleen say a few words. In short, because we know you like to keep them like long.
Should we get in a circle?
Have a frisbee player, right?
I want to say thank you to the board and our administration for recognizing us. I've been teaching in Westfield for about 10 years now, and I think one of the great things about this town is that our students do so many different things, whether it's sport related and all different academic stuff, and I'm glad that you recognize us for our accomplishments. Big thanks to our ton of seniors that we have here who've been playing with us, many since 6th and 7th grade. And to our freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, we're going to build and hope to do even better, including hopefully a great 8th grade son. Okay, but thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Okay, everybody good on pictures? Great, thanks guys. You guys, if you could sit down for a couple minutes, we have a couple of other athletes to recognize and then I'll let you go. Thank you. Take a 15. So we also, just want to take a minute tonight to recognize and congratulate Phil Dwyer, who earned the sectional championship in the long jump. Phil, are you here? And could you come up, please? So Phil had an outstanding senior season. He was a strong, short sprinter for the team. Running on the 4x100 relay. Mark, what are you doing?
I wanted to see him jump.
That's good. Listen to me talk about all the amazing things he did. So he was a strong short sprinter for the team, running on the 4x100 relay that placed 4th in Union County and 3rd in the state sectionals. He also ran on the 4x200 relay that placed 4th in Union County and set a school indoor record. He was the team's best high jumper with a personal best of 6'2". Jump over you, Mark.
Yeah.
His best event was the long jump, where he had the county's best jump at the Union County Relays, 2nd in the conference and 3rd in Union County at the Union County Championship. So congratulations. Oh, I'm not done. His best performance of the year was at the state sectionals, where he jumped a personal best 22 feet 8 inches to win the sectional championship on his final jump of the competition. And this makes you number 6 in world high school history. Westfield High School history. I know, we'll go with world. He will attend St. Joseph's University in the fall, where he will continue his track career. So congratulations on a great season. I'd I'd also just like to recognize his coach, Chris Tefelsky, if you would come up, please. And
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time tonight to recognize our athletes, and also thank you for your support that you give us all year round. Track and field and cross country, we have probably on the boys' side and the girls' side combined, we probably have 400 families involved at some point in at least one of the 3 seasons. And I think if you talk to any one of them or their parents, I think you would really gain an appreciation for how important athletics is in the lives of kids. And we as coaches really believe that athletics is co-curricular, that there is a very strong educational component to having athletics associated with schools. And we really couldn't be the program that we are without your support. So thank you very much for that. Now with a very large program places a lot of responsibility on older kids, right? And you know, our coaching staff, again, thanks to your support, is pretty substantial. We have 9 coaches, which is wonderful. We still have a lot of people, but really what it does is place a lot of the responsibility on the kids to establish the norms of what a successful track and field team is. And to Phil's credit, this is only Phil's 2nd outdoor track and field season. He joined us in the spring of his junior year, and his progress has really been outstanding. And I think that's a tribute to, one, the lessons he picked up on the fly as a junior from the kids who came before him, and it's evident every single day with Phil and the other older kids that we have about how serious they are about turnkeying that over to the younger people on our program, and that's part of the legacy that we need our upperclassmen to uphold over the years so that the classes that come up beneath them can meet the same standard that guys like Phil have achieved. So Phil really is to be commended, not just for all of his performances that you mentioned before, but just for being a great leader and being a great mentor for the younger people on the team. That you know, we may be here in another year or two celebrating someone else who learned lessons about what it takes to be a good athlete from guys like Phil. And finally, I certainly would be remiss if I pretended like I had anything to do with Phil's ability to jump, because that goes from the coaching perspective goes to Billy Malott. And Billy, he teaches phys ed over at Jefferson, and he's our assistant coach who handles the horizontal jumps, the long jump, the triple jump, and also the high jump. And Billy is the classic educator, and he doesn't enjoy accolades, and he doesn't enjoy attention. He's a low-key kind of a guy, but really Billy's ability to connect with kids, his ability to discipline them with the appropriate handedness for each kid, and his ability to measure that with the different personalities of all the different kids that we have, really is a tremendous talent, and we're really fortunate to have him on the coaching staff. So thank you very much.
thank you. Last and certainly not least, I'd like to ask Karen Moncayo to come up, please. Hi, congratulations. Did I say it okay? Moncayo? Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about Karen. So Karen earned the sectional championship in discus. And there's more to her amazing achievements. Here are a few examples. As a senior captain, she led by example and was undefeated in the javelin for all dual meets and won all but one discus meet this season. She earned the Watchung Conference Championship in both the javelin and the discus, and she set a new school record in the javelin at 128 feet 1 inch and helped the team place second overall. Karen also won the county championship in both javelin and discus and helped the team place second overall. And to top off her season, she was named North 2 Group 4 Sectional Championship in the discus, and she placed a commendable 4th in the javelin. So congratulations, Karen. And we would like to recognize her coach, Jennifer Buccino, if you could come up as well, please.
everyone. Chris and I coach together, so he pretty much covered a lot of the thank yous that we need to put out there, and we really do appreciate it. And on behalf of Karen, just for the record, she broke her record twice. She broke the record in an early throw and then really broke it on her second throw in the javelin. So it was a really exciting, fun day. Karen also did a very profound speech the other night at our awards night, talking about how she had set goals for herself to break records, but also at the end of the day, it isn't just about winning things and setting records. It's about setting your goals and staying focused to them and always striving to progress throughout your time. And I thought that was a really, really good, well done speech the other night. Also, in keeping, as Chris was saying, I don't coach Karen specifically in the throwing events. We actually, thanks to your support in the district, we have a few coaches in the field because we have shot put, discus, and javelin, and they are in different locations. So it's been really nice to have a past Westfield High School athlete come back and help in the throws. That's Eric Anderson. We also have Coach Heyman, and then we coach for the girls team is Coach Preston. But the three of them get to collaborate on ideas and work together, and it's really nice and handy to have the supervision, because if those of you that don't know track and field, we could have the throwing event in a whole completely other location, and the discus could be in another location, and just trying to accommodate all those athletes has been really helpful to have three coaches there. And Eric Anderson has started out as a volunteer coach, so it's been great to have him a part of it. So thank you for everything tonight. I appreciate being here, and thank you.
So thanks again for giving us a chance to recognize both the outstanding team and individual athletic achievements. Thank you again for your patience. Please grab some cookies and brownies on your way out. Although you're welcome to stay for the business portion of the meeting, I will give you a few minutes to leave if you want. And again, thanks for representing Westfield so well. Thanks. All right. So, do we have any less exciting announcements to make tonight? Amy, do you have?
I think I am going to have some announcements for some people who aren't here, but we'll say nice things about them anyway.
Excellent.
All right. These announcements pertain to Westfield High School World Languages. On May 11th, 20 students were inducted into Pensativa, Westfield High School's chapter of the National Spanish Honor Society. These students were nominated by their Spanish teachers not only for achieving academic excellence in the study of the Spanish language, but also for being outstanding in the areas of character, service, and leadership, explained Rose Calamano, a Westfield High School Spanish teacher. Also, 72 Westfield High School students earned a variety of awards and recognitions at all 4 levels of the National Latin exam. Sophomore Stephanie Chow earned a perfect score on the Level 2 exam. The distinction of a perfect score was attained by only 813 students out of more than 135,000 who took the exam across the world. On March 16th, a total of 97 students from Westfield High School took the National Latin exam, which is given annually in all 50 states and a number of countries worldwide. And then also, Westfield High School students earned 1 platinum, 3 gold, 3 silver, and 6 bronze medals in this year's Grand Concours, a nationwide test administered by the American Association of Teachers of French. Over 100,000 elementary and secondary students participate in the contest nationally, with 41 Westfield High School students taking the test this year. Senior Michael Haig earned first place in both the state and in the nation on Level 5, the highest and most difficult of the exams. This is quite an amazing feat, noted Westfield High School French teacher Rachel Janis. So, c'est magnifique.
Rob, do you have an announcement?
Yes, I have 2 announcements pertaining to Westfield High School. In recognition of academic excellence, leadership, service, and character, 190 juniors and 12 seniors from Westfield High School were inducted into the National Honor Society on April 27th. Principal Derek Nelson awarded the students with certificates, and Scott Rutherford, NHS advisor, presented NHS pins and charms. The list of students appears on the district and Westfield High School news section of the website. Secondly, congratulations to Westfield High School seniors who are recipients of 175 awards at the school's annual awards night held on May 24th. And a special congratulations to our board cameraman, Hal Barnes, who received the Westfield High School Blue Devil TV Award. For a complete list of award winners, please check the news section on the district and the Westfield High School websites.
Congratulations. Chris, you have an announcement?
Yes, 2 announcements regarding the elementary schools. Congratulations to the teachers and staff of Washington and Wilson Elementary Schools, who each raised approximately $2,000 for charity by participating in a volleyball fundraiser match on May 23rd. Washington teacher Kerry Ponzio summed up the event by saying, "While supporting our students and these charities, we all won." Secondly, students at McKinley Elementary School danced to raise money for pediatric cancer research at the school's 6th annual mini-thon. This year's event brought in over $10,000 to benefit the Karen Research Fund, bringing the total raised across 6 years to more than $54,000. Congratulations to the more than 350 students and 30 faculty members who participated in the school-wide event.
Thank you. Michael, do you have an announcement?
Yes, I have one here. 25 Westfield Public School retiring staff members were honored for 558 years of combined service by the Board of Education, by their colleagues and guests at the 30th Annual Gala for School Employees on June 1st. The event also paid tribute to the employees with over 25 years of service. We thank the employees for their dedication in continuing the tradition of excellence.
Thank you. Charles?
Yes, I have a Board of Education announcement, and I guess it's a public service announcement, probably I should title it as.
Yes. All right.
This is a reminder, the deadline for Westfield residents considering a 3-year term on the Board of Education is July 31st at 4 p.m., when petitions are due at the County Clerk's office in Elizabeth. The 3 members whose terms are expiring on the Westfield Board of Education include Peggy Oster, Mark Friedman, and Christopher Langard. To consider becoming a Board of Education member for the 2017 to 2020 term, candidates must file a petition in person in the office of the County Clerk at 2 Broad Street, room 113 in Elizabeth, on or before 4 p.m. on July 31st, 2017. The actual election will take place on Tuesday, November 7th, 2017. Nominating petition forms, which must be completed and submitted to the County Clerk, are available at the Board of Education office, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, and on the board website. Questions regarding the election process can be referred to the Union County Election Supervisor, Lisa Hugelmeyer, at 908-527-4996. That's 908-527-4996. Information is available at the County Clerk's website at www.ucnj.org/CTYCLERK. I'm not going to repeat that one. Interested residents are encouraged to contact any member of the Board of Education or the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Margaret Dolan, for more information about service on the board.
I assume, Lauren, that information is also available on our website, right? Thank you.
And if you buy now, get 2.
Yeah. Kudos to the Kindness Club of Roosevelt Intermediate School, which demonstrated its commitment to assisting those in need by donating $450 worth of baby care essentials to the Division of Child Protection and Permanency of Union County. The club held various fundraisers and received a list of the most needed items from the Union County agency.
This is from high school athletics. Congratulations to the girls golf team for earning the North Jersey Girls Golf League Tournament Championship. Also, congratulations to Sean Taylor, Union County Conference Tournament Champion in boys golf. Maybe he can teach me a thing or two. Kudos to our track and field conference champions, 11th graders Emma Jackler for winning the 800 meters, Caroline Stockwell, the 3200 meters conference champion, Mia Melau for winning the 1600 meter, and 10th grader Leah Norton, the pole vault conference champion. And finally, congratulations to 2 Westfield High School seniors. Owen Problisky has been selected as All-American for boys lacrosse, and Natalie Bond has been selected as Academic All-American for girls lacrosse.
I have an announcement from the high school. Congratulations to 11 more students who each achieved the highest score this spring on either the SAT or ACT standardized tests, widely used for college admission and placement criteria. Each earning perfect SAT scores in math were Michael Canabaro, 11th grade, and Austin Chen, 10th grade. The following 11th graders earned a top score on the ACT. Yentine Hugh for reading, Anna Maria Kobori in English, and Jason Little in math, Tim McAuliffe in science, Morgan Miofsky in science, William Rakier in English, Jonathan Silva in English, Sarah Ward, math and English, and Daniel Schenker in English. Congratulations.
And our next Board of Education meeting is going to be held on Tuesday, June 20th. That's next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. here at 302 Elm Street. We've invited the world, and it is the world this time, the world and state champion Odyssey of the Mind teams. And we will also honor 3 more individual athletic champions, as well as our state sectional boys tennis team and our record-breaking baseball coach. Do you have any announcements?
One quick announcement. Earlier today, Dr. Nelson and I attended the Westfield Rotary Scholarship event. They announced that this was the 95th year in a row that Westfield Rotary has invited Westfield High School students to an annual meeting. And for the first something like 30 years, they gave grants to students. But since 1950 something or other, they've been giving scholarships, and today they gave scholarships to over a dozen of our high school seniors, and it's a wonderful tradition. We appreciate it, and I know the families and the students appreciate their support of our students as well.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to recognize members of the public for agenda items only. Seeing no one come to the podium, I would ask the board to and make a motion for the board to approve our reorganization resolutions, 1 through, really, number 37, 38. Can I have a second, please? Mark, thank you.
I have one amendment on attachment 4, which is for our insurance broker services. That's for property, casualty, and health. It should actually say that we solicited proposals in 2016. So I'm just gonna amend that to include that.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of the reorganization resolutions on the agenda? This basically is the time of year where we reapprove and appoint professional services, basically the means by which we do business. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Dana?
Mike Beelan?
Yes.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Rob Garrison?
Yes.
Chris Langhart?
Yes to all except for numbers 21 and 26. I abstain from voting and recuse myself from those.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Charles Ostroff?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes. Thank you. I'd ask the board to approve the minutes of our board meeting held on May 23rd, 2017 in the private minutes of the same date. Can I have a second, please? Amy, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Any abstentions or? Okay, great. Personnel, Mark.
I'd like the board to consider personnel items 1 through 35. Second?
Second.
Okay.
Who seconded that, Chris?
Chris. Any questions, comments?
I do have one comment. I'd like to call out one of the agenda items. Personnel item number 4. I'm very pleased to recommend a new assistant principal for Edison Intermediate School. And I am recommending Crystal Marsh as the assistant principal. Dr. Bolton, the principal of Edison Intermediate School, chaired the committee that conducted the interviews. Ms. Marsh is a science teacher and grade team leader in the Salk School of Science Middle School in New York City. She's a graduate of Columbia University Teachers College, where she received a Master of Education degree. She also earned a Master of Science degree in Adolescent Education from Pace University and a Bachelor of Arts degree from University of Pennsylvania. Both the committee and I were very pleased with all of her experience, her expertise, and we truly look forward to welcoming her to Edison School.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions, comments? I took over, sorry.
No,
Mark.
that's okay.
Dana?
Dana?
Mike Beelan?
Yes.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Ralph Garrison,
Yes.
Chris Langhart.
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg.
Yes, I abstain from item 22.
Peggy Oster,
Yes.
Charles Ostroff,
Yes.
Amy Root.
Yes. So, congratulations, Ms. Marsh. Marsh, would you like to come up and say a few words? Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. So as the educator said earlier this evening, I'm definitely honored and humbled to be joining the Westfield Public School District. Adolescents in middle school come with a very unique set of challenges, but I'm excited to work with Matt and the staff and the families over at Edison Intermediate to help our students, like the mission says, reach their highest potential and just uphold this tradition of excellence that the Westfield Public Schools has. So,
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's it.
Great. Facilities, Brendan.
No report, we are meeting Friday morning.
I actually have a short update on the solar project.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I can get it.
Everybody wants to know if we were selling the schools because of all the flags. up.
I know, right?
So, as you know, we are in the process of installing solar panels on 5 schools.
Oh, there's.
So, we have, the schools are the high school, the 2 intermediate schools, Wilson and Tamaqua. So these are just some pictures. We do have, solar panels installed fully on 3 schools, Tamaqua, Edison, and the high school. We are still working on Roosevelt and also on Wilson. Wilson, we had to do some additional roofing work before they could finish the panels. So here's some panels at the high school.
Cool.
Here's what they look like at Edison, Roosevelt.
Oh, wow.
So when we are up and running, once we're finished with the installation, we have to do some electric changeovers. We have to shut down electric power in a few buildings. We have to get approval, so we're still working through all that and trying to get it completed. But we are currently, our average cost per kilowatt hour is about 15 cents, and we will be purchasing 0.59 when we are up and running. And that, it's gonna generate about 1.2 million kilowatt hours of, so basically what it is we'll save about 15% of our budget, in electric costs when everything is up and running, which hopefully will happen sometime, early next school year.
So we think fall. Fall, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Gretchen, can I just make a comment?
Absolutely.
I wanted to say, I drop my daughter off most mornings at Wilson School, and I have to commend the workers there and the staff. The way that they've been working around the students and the way they keep their equipment and everything, the safety issues there, it's been fantastic. You wouldn't even know that they're doing as much work as they've been doing because they've kept it really away from the students, especially in the morning, so they're to be commended. It's been great.
Thank you. All right, fantastic. Brendan, nothing further.
Nope, meeting Friday morning, 8 o'clock.
Friday morning, 8 o'clock. Long-range planning, Mark.
Dr. Dolan, do we know anything more?
No, we're still waiting to hear back from the demographer.
Do we have an estimated time?
Probably a couple weeks. He's been coordinating with George, to get some information about enrollment, capacities of buildings and whatnot, so I would expect a report from him in a few weeks.
So we'll reach out and see whether we can schedule something in the summer if people's schedules allow.
Okay, great. There's your report.
No, that's great. So that was one of the, I know the board had an opportunity to see the district goals that we'll talk about more in public later, but that the potential of full-day kindergarten was one of them for next year. So hopefully we'll kick off the year, if not the summer, with that report, and we can really get the ball moving forward on that. Policies, Chris.
Yep, just one item tonight. I'd like the board to consider for approval the only item, the affirmation of the superintendent's decision on HIV incidents 17E15, 17E16, and 17E17 for the reasons set forth in each of those reports. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brendan.
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brenda Galligan?
Yes.
Rob Garrison?
Yes.
Chris Langhart?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Charles Ostroff?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
One last thing, the Policies Committee met on June 6th. We have nothing on for first reading, as you can see. We've discussed a number of policies. We anticipate holding a meeting possibly over the summer.
Great.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Thank you. Curriculum instruction and program, I'd like to ask the board to consider curriculum items 1 through 3. Can I have a second, please? Thank you, Michael. So the ESL 3-year program plan was attached as attachment 1. Our overnight field trips are attachment 2, and then we have for second reading the math and practical arts curriculum that we talked about last time. Does anybody have any questions on anything? Dana?
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Rob Garrison?
Yes.
Chris Langhart?
Yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Charles Ostroff?
Yes.
Amy Root? Yes.
Finance, Mark.
Yes, I'd like the board to consider finance items 1 through 20. Second, Chris, thank you. Any questions or comments?
Just one
Rob?
comment to Dr. Dolan, following up on Michael's comments from the last meeting. I'm going to vote in the affirmative on attachment 4 in terms of the tuition fees going for June County. But could we get more information in terms of how that works exactly, in terms of the taxes and the payments on that for future?
Okay. And just a couple of call-outs. We'd like to accept a gift of $203.80 from Ms. Michelle L. Cole for Mrs. Eisen's class at Tamaqua School to purchase some books. And then there were also a few different grants. We'd like to accept a grant from the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders and the Open Space Recreation and Historic Preservation Trust Fund to Tamaqua School for an Earthbox garden valued at $500 through the Kids Dig In grant program. And then also accepting a grant from the Union County same Board of Chosen Freeholders and the Open Space Rec and Historic Preservation Trust Fund to McKinley School for a new raised bed garden valued at $1,250 through the same Kids Dig In grant program. And then also further to the conversation about the demographer and the demographic study, we'd like to accept a grant in the amount of $15,250 from the Westfield Foundation to the Board of Education to commission the demographic study of the town. So thank you for all those things. That's it.
Thank you.
Dana,
Mike
please.
Phelan?
Yes.
Mark Friedman?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Rob Garrison?
Yes.
Chris Langhart?
Yes.
Gretchen Olig?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Charles Ostroff?
Yes.
Amy Root? Yes.
That's it.
Thanks. Technology, Peggy.
I really have no report. Our meeting on a Friday was postponed till the beginning of the school year, where we will be discussing a 3-year plan for technology, where we left off from the old technology plan and where we're going to. And I'd like to call out that they did order Chromebook carts for all grades, for all social studies classrooms in grades 6 to 12. So we'll be meeting back in September again, and hopefully have our plan for going into the future with the technology committee.
Great, thank you. I'd ask the board to note the notes for the record and the attachments 1 and 2. Do we have any old business? Sorry, I just completely lost my agenda because my Words with Friends decided to pop up.
Are you winning?
I'm not. All right, here we go. Do we have any new business?
Technology.
We do have new business.
We do.
Perhaps not playing that game, but we do have new business. So last year, we were fortunate enough to have a large representation on our strategic planning committee, and we have we're now, next year we'll be entering our 2nd year of the strategic plan. So usually at this time of the year, we have discussion about proposed goals for next year that come from the plan, so that over the summer, I and Paul Pinero and Mike Weissman can work on those goals and get them in shape for your approval before the beginning of the school year, so we can begin right in the beginning of the year. So I did send some proposed goals to you in the communication on Friday, and I can go over them and pause in between and see what comments there might be, so that again we can work on them a bit over the summer. The first one has to do with our web presence. So right now, both the district and the schools and the teachers all have web pages through Edline. Edline happens to be owned by Blackboard, and they are going to be phasing out Edline, we know. And by 2018, by the beginning of the 2018 school year, there will not be Edline. So we want to make a good transition. We want to make the best choice as to what makes sense with today's options on the web. So we want to make one goal, making decisions as to how will we have our web presence? Will it still be everybody has web pages on a platform, or will we change that and have a district presence and school presence, and teachers are done somewhat differently? So we think we need a lot of time to have discussions and viewing current options. So there's one, and that falls actually, I believe, under both goal 1 and goal 2 in our strategic plan, because it both impacts the work in the classrooms and supports the work with the teachers, with the students, but it also talks about reaching out to stakeholders, both parents and community. So that would be one proposed one. We'll work on that. The second goal that is proposed is to, something we talked about quite a bit and comes directly from the strategic plan, and that is for us to determine the feasibility and community support for full-day kindergarten in Westfield. As stated, we've started working with the demographer. We've given the information to the demographer. We do not yet have the report about projected enrollment. We've also involved the architect who works with the district to determine capacity that exists or capacity that could be added and what that would mean. And as was discussed in long-range planning when we met earlier this year, we believe we need to reach out to the community to get a sense of, it's a large community, what are the perceptions of what the options are and how we should go forward with the possibility.
So the only question I had is, as far as what the goal was. So is the goal, in fact, just to determine the feasibility, or is it to determine the feasibility and then make a decision about whether we do it or not?
I think it would be to make the decision also, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we talked about it in long-range planning, we have a lot more to talk about, but the critical part of that, from my view, is how do we solicit community feedback on that when, so the simple question is, would you like full-day kindergarten? Yeah, sure, but what does that mean? What does that mean in terms of taxes? What does that mean in terms of a bond to build a facility? So how we solicit that is gonna be, I don't know, I don't know the answer, so I think that'll be, take up a lot of energy at the beginning, so.
I think so too.
I guess, Gretchen, we look at the existing facilities that are providing services for the kindergartners now that have popped up all over town that seem to fill that need now, and we work that into the demographics and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a part of it, right?
Right,
What does
yeah.
that mean? What will the impact be on the community as a whole, including those private kindergarten programs? Yeah.
Sorry, just making notes so I don't forget that.
No, that's.
Okay. And the third proposed goal deals with providing additional in-district programs for students with special needs. We certainly already have a number of classes for students who have very specific needs, but we've identified 2 additional ones where we believe we can allow more students to stay in our district, which both supports them, but it also can be beneficial for the district. So we are looking and have included money in the budget to support a program at the intermediate school to continue our program for students who are on the autism spectrum, students who have been in special programs in elementary school, but now they're aging into middle school. And additionally, at the elementary level, we have 1 class for students who have behavioral issues and other issues similar to that. And we believe now we are going to go to a somewhat different model and have 2 classes there, both because of need and also because we need to structure those classes differently. So there's a lot of work that has started on that, but it's going to have to continue next year because these programs are going to be very different than what we've had before. So those are the 3 proposed. We'll come up with wording, present it to you before the August meeting, and then hopefully put it on the agenda for approval.
Great. Thank you for your work on that. Liaison reports. Does anybody have any?
Dr. Dolan, Amy Root, and myself attended the Garden State Coalition of Schools annual meeting on May 31st, and I thought it was a pretty good meeting for my first time being at the big annual meeting and the reorganization meeting. Really good panel discussion headed by John Mooney of NJ Spotlight with a couple members of the Assembly, including the chair of the Education Committee, Marlene Caridi. I thought it was a pretty good discussion. And it went over very well. The next meeting will be July, I believe it's 10, in East Brunswick at the Board of Ed building at 10 a.m.
Great, thank you. Any other liaison reports, Amy?
Yeah, I have a bit of hot off the presses news, actually. It got discussed at our most recent PTC meeting about, as we demolish the old auditoriums at Edison and Roosevelt, question came up of what's happening with the old chairs for those who might like to hold on to a memory, whether good or bad, from their times in those auditoriums. And an email went out today from one of the officers of the PTC that there is a purchasing option that is available, but you need to get your bids in. You need to get your request in, I should say, by this Friday. They're offering the chairs in groups of 2, 3, or 4, and you can get 2 for $50, 3 for $75, and 4 together for the low price of only $90. And if anybody's interested in that, proceeds will benefit the PTC Scholarship Fund. The contact would be Donna Kenny, whose contact information would be on the parents and then the PTC tab on our website. Her email is Donna Kenny, DonnaKenney, New York, so add the NY, @gmail.com. So, okay.
It's like when they closed down Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium.
Exactly.
Buy
Exactly
seats.
Exactly.
I have 2 Shea Stadium seats in my basement.
And look what you can add now.
Yeah.
Here comes Edison.
I'll bring it home for my kids. They can each have 1. There you go.
So if anybody's watching, great Father's Day opportunity. Yes, but act fast by Friday, please. Okay.
All right, thank you. Which means, is demo starting?
Well, that's why we have a deadline, because this request just came in like last week.
Yeah.
And the contract with the contractors is they're gonna start on the 17th, removing chairs. And we don't have, school will still be in session for another week.
Right.
So we don't have anywhere to store the chairs, so we're gonna have to try and coordinate where we take chairs out and pass them on to people if they wanna purchase them, so that's, yeah, that's
Okay.
why we're moving quickly.
So people
very
should probably
exciting.
stand by this weekend or have some type of nominee to come pick them up for you if you can't do it. But yeah, it's an interesting opportunity.
Very good. Any other liaison reports from the board? At this point, I would recognize members of the public for any questions or comments. Did you want to? Can I ask you to come to the podium, please? Okay. And yeah.
Sorry, it looks worse than what it is.
Okay. That's all right. Take your time.
So much tennis.
Oh.
I had to find some other activities now until it gets better. Okay.
If you could just state your name and address.
Okay, very
Thank
good.
you.
Diane Barabbas. I'm at Stoneleigh Park in town. Been here for trying to forget about 30 years or more. My children have gone through the school system here. But I really came here just for a little suggestion. I know I really don't have any kind of influence, but safety. The gentleman tonight that received the award for the drama at the high school kind of brought a tear to my eye. But my backyard actually faces the high school, so I'm kind of like a bit of a cut through. And a couple of times I noticed when Ed and I have gone out at nighttime when it's really dark, the lighting is really very, very dim on Dorian Road between Rawway and Westfield Avenue. Maybe the trees, especially now that you have a lot of foliage, and cars are parked on both sides. I know when we went out, only that we really noticed beforehand, there were students from a night program cutting across the street. And only that we really were aware, the two of us, there could have been another fatality. And of course, that's youth. I don't think we are aware sometimes how fragile we really are. And I just thought that Councilman LaGrippo, who is actually really I think he is safety on the town council, maybe someone could place a call with him, call him in to kind of observe that particular area. But just a word of caution that we love our children so much, especially in the town of Westfield. We don't want to see any other thing happen. So I'm looking forward to your assistance. Part 2 of Facebook, a recent thread that came through about the business owners not willing to make donations to fundraisers. As you know, we are all parents that have been here, and we were always fundraising. We do a great job on fundraising and giving our children everything more than they really realize until they really leave here. But I think the PTO needs to work a little bit harder on supporting the businesses downtown versus going to them and asking them for donations, gift certificates. A lot of restaurants now, Chipotle, Friends, Lord and Taylor, when they have their friends and family, they give a residual back to the school or the organization. And I think maybe then the funds could be used to go to our stores and businesses downtown and purchase things from these businesses. Retail is suffering. As you know, that the mayor has established a task force because many of these businesses can no longer exist. The corporate store is fine, but mom and pop and little individual businesses can't exist. So I'm looking to you also, be in touch with the PTO and ask the zealot women that love our town and love our children just to lend a hand at this time. Thank you.
Thanks for being patient through a very long meeting and to bring that safety issue especially to our attention.
Yes, it's very important. I've had a couple scares when I looked out there a couple nights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feel better.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? I'm seeing no one come to the podium. I'd like to ask the board to approve the following resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education move into private session for the purpose of discussing matters rendered confidential by state and federal law, legal matters, contract negotiations, the superintendent's evaluation, board evaluation, appointment of legal counsel, and harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidents. And be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board which need not remain confidential and the results of the discussion will be made public as soon as practicable. Can I have a second, please? Amy, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? There's never anybody opposed. We are in private session.